Hello everyone, my name is Vlad and today we'll continue with our Decentraland tutorials, and today we'll talk about spawning objects on our Decentraland scene. We'll start where we left last time, so we created a new scene. This is our default project, cube spawner, and we will modify this one. So we don't need this one. We'll remove this one, and this part we will comment out and we'll talk about it in our next episode. Let's talk about this function, spawn cube, and to create an object we need to create new entity, add the transform element to it, component, which is position, scale, and rotation, and add the shape to it. It can be a primitive like a box shape, like a plane, like a cylindrical shape, or it can be a 3D model. And we need to add this entity to the scene so it will be rendered. This function is pretty basic one, and I'll show how I usually do it. So what would I do? I would write a function which would usually call spawn entity. It will take a few parameters. First of all, it will be a shape and type shape. It's general type, which will cover all the primitives as well as 3D models in GLB format. I would pass position, rotation, and scale as a parameter. I can do it as 3 separate variables. For example, position, vector 3, scale, vector 3, and rotation, quaternion. That is one way to do it, but we can also make it a bit differently. We can create transform, pass parameter transform, which is transform constructor arguments. And that is going to be something like this. So we pass a new transform for this parameter. And everything else is going to be pretty similar to our spawn cube function. So we have const entity, new entity, entity.add component, transform, entity add component shape, and engine add entity, and we return this entity. So how do we use it? Same as we used to use this cube. That would be const our entity spawn entity. Let's do the same new box shape and pass a new transform like this, position, new vector 3, and we'll pass, let's say, 4, 1, 4. And we can add scale, but that is optional. New vector 3, put it half of the size of the usual cube. So like this, and that should create a new box in a position x, y, z like this, and half of the size. Okay, let's run it. I have my PowerShell here, DCL start, and it should spawn here. Just waiting. And here we have our cube. Let's look what else can we do. With this function, we can easily replace this shape with any other shape. Let's say we want to have a plane shape. And here we have a plane, small plane. Or we might have any other shape, new shape, and have a look what else we have. We have cone shape, text shape, plane shape. Let's choose cone shape. And here we go, again. And we can add rotation to it. Rotation, new quaternion, and let's rotate it 90 degrees. Wait, not this axis. Let's do this axis. Here we go. Rotate it. Or we can remove these two elements and just pass only position. And here we go. The standard size, cone shape. But what if you want to pass a 3D model to it? Yes, I have a 3D model here. Let's copy this laptop and let's create the model folder, models, add here. So now we have models. And what can we do? New GLTF shape and type the path to the model. Models, laptop, GLB. Models, 3D models should be saved in this format GLB. I might need to reload it. And here we have our laptop, which I made in Blender. Quite a simple one. Let's rotate it and put it in somewhere in the middle of the scene. So 8 scale is all right. Rotation, new quaternion. Yes, I went completely retarded. This one is not angles, that is float from -1 to 1, and to rotate the laptop the way I want, it's something like -1 and 1. So we rotate on two axes and it looks like this. So now it is a bit interesting position, which we will be able to use for our next episode. Now we can remove this function and we have our new one. And obviously we can use it for our other objects. So if you want to create a box, so again we do spawn and new box shape and new transform. Position, new vector. We can do it, for example, if you want to have a vector which would be equal to 1, we can use vector 1 built-in functions of this vector class. And that is going to be equal to the new vector 3, 1, 1, 1. So that is exactly the same as this one. Or if you want to put all the zeros, we might have used 0, and that is easier way than to type new vector 3, 0, 0, 0. So in our case, I want to use 1. And here we have our box and our laptop. So that is why we use function. So we can reuse this code. That's it. That's how you spawn objects or entities to your scene. In the next episode, we'll talk how to use systems to move your object to rotate it as we used to have in our example scene and any other movements as well. Okay, thank you. See you again.